beautiful bookish friends. It's a new year and that means a new TBR. Yeah, so here's the problem. Most of what is on my TBR has been on other TBRs because I'm bad at finishing series. And that is a big goal for this year. I want to try and finish or continue on with series that I started last year and the year before. But mostly last year because they're fresh in my mind and I don't have to reread anything I don't want to. So I have a big old stack here of books and some that are just ones I want to get through. So let's start with those. If you saw my haul, I don't know if my haul is up or not yet. You'll see most of these in the haul because I think it's coming after this video. I want to read all of these comics that I have right here. There's a Poison Ivy, there's a Zatanna, there's some Superman and Wonder Woman, mainly because I have started all of this series already, and these ones are just short, nice little jaunts that kind of I can read in a night and kickstart me into my reading flow and starting novels and such. So I want to get through all of these, plus it will give me a nice month of reading to start the year and get me going towards my goal of 80 books. There's all of those. I'm not going to go through all of them because I'm going in blind to the graphic novels and I want to keep it that way, and the others are very complex series that we do not have time to dissect. Now, the next one I want to read is Majesty. This is the second one in the American Royals series. There is a third book to this one, so I definitely want to get to this one to read the third one and all that. At this point, if you haven't read the first one, don't listen to what I'm saying. America now has a new queen. She is the first queen, and she has to get married. Queen Beatrice. So she is the oldest sister. She is the heir who is like, everything is for the crown, nothing but the crown. And her sister is kind of her sister and brother definitely see themselves as the spare, and they all get into turmoil and trouble, and there's romance and all kinds of drama in here. So it's a very good YA kind of new adult read. Then this is one that has quite a few books in the series now, the Bromance Book Club series, and this is Undercover Bromance. I'm trying to think of who Raiden. So this is the guy who is the restaurateur, I'm pretty sure. And he is going to try and have a lovely relationship with Liv. She wants to be a chef, and he obviously owns restaurants. So something's going to happen there, and I'm pretty sure she's the sister from the first book. And she's like the only woman in Nashville who wants nothing to do with him. So enemies to lovers. We love to see it. The next one is Well Matched. I've talked about this before. This is the sequel to Well Met and Well Played, and I just got the fourth one in this series, which I didn't even know was coming out. But this is April and Mitch. April is the sister from the first book. She is a single mom, and Mitch is the guy who wears the kilt. That's just kind of very big, himbo, funny guy energy. So I'm excited to see him as more than just like the comic relief. I think it will be very, very sweet. Then I want to reread, which I've already started. I'm only like 11 pages in, but Kingdom of the Cursed, so that I can read Kingdom of the Feared. Right now I'm reading this and tabbing it, so I know exactly what is going to go on in this one once I get to it, because I've reread Kingdom of the Wicked and tabbed it. So now I'm going into this one, and I'll show you guys. Like, I go in and I put marks for like foreshadowing, which now obviously I can see it as foreshadowing rather than just like backstory, atmosphere, etc., etc. So I have a few tabs in that. I'm going to be reading that one and then picking up the next one to finish off this trilogy. Two more comics in here. This is the start of a series. This is a new Harley Quinn, but this Wonder Woman one is the end of a series. So I want to get those. You can throw those in with the comics I want to read this month. And I want to mention, these aren't the only books I'm going to pick up this month. This is just going to be the majority of what I want to pick up. Like, these are my priority. Like, also right now I'm listening to on audio A Study in Charlotte, which is a new take on Sherlock Holmes and Watson. They're teenagers. It's at a boarding school. I very much am liking it so far. But I wanted to throw that in there. Like, if I'm trying to read as many physical books as possible, which is why there's so many in this stack. But if I get to a point where I'm feeling overwhelmed and just need to listen to some audiobooks, so I'm still reading while I'm working kind of thing, I will pick up maybe something that's on my library TBR. Or if one of these has an audiobook from the library, I'll pick that up as well. I also want to reread, but I'm not going to tab The Heart Forger. This is in the Bone Witch series. I reread the Bone Witch in 2021, I think. And I haven't gotten back to the series. So I definitely want to do this because this is one of my favorite series. Also, I really want to get Once Upon a Broken Heart for February and kind of read that series. So I definitely need to reread Finale, and I need to tab this up because I've tabbed the other two. This is the end of the Caraval series. It introduces a lot of new characters, so I need to go back and definitely read this before I start the next series, because I think it's going to have a lot of backstory of the characters in here. More Carrie Maniscalco, Hunting Prince Dracula, same thing. I reread Stalking Jack the Ripper, and I want to reread and tab this because this is also one of my favorite series. And I just want to revisit the books on my shelf and remind myself which ones I really liked. And if there's certain ones that I no longer vibe with, pass them on to somebody who will enjoy them. Then we have Daughter of the Siren Queen. I read the first book in this series last year and fell in love with it. So I want to go on to this book as well. And the last two, I have The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwreck. This is in the Montague siblings novels. I think I figured out that this is the baby brother that we hear about in the first two, or at least the first book, all grown up and following in the footsteps of his siblings. So I've read every other book and novella in this series. So this is like the thickest one of them all, and I'm interested to see how the little brother turns out. And finally, I have Almost There, which is Tiana's Twisted Tale in the Disney Twisted Tale series, and it's what if she made a deal with Dr. Facilier instead of Naveen. So that's it. I do have a Nancy Drew book and a middle grade that I'm trying to finish up that I was reading at the end of last year. I've just been bouncing around from book to book to book to book to book, and so I needed to make a TBR to kind of center myself in. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know, and let me know what you want to read this month, and I will see you in the next one.